Welcome everyone. Welcome back to Ana Dialogue, the dialogue on analog music reproduction. Today, we are going to focus on cutting-edge technology, the state-of-the-art of Class D amplification, and I would say also MOSFET technology. Are you ready? Let's dive in now. Yes, guys, we are going to take a deep dive looking, understanding, hopefully, the AGD Audion, the monoblocks, based on Class D technology, Class D amplifiers with the gallium nitride type of MOSFET, or also known as GaNFET. Yes. I got very interested because I've seen so many reviews out there and those darn machines are so gorgeous. I just had to reach out and try to understand what the fuss was all about and if the looks match the sonics, okay? But apart from that, I was just interested in this new technology because there aren't that many amplifiers out there actually. And the whole line, practically, of AGD is based on this technology, which is constantly evolving. Okay, so I'm going to try to give you a few hints of how this happened, what took place, the story behind. I'll put the chapters so you can skip if you want, but it's interesting. Then we're going to take a look at the main aspects, features, specs. Afterwards, the main physical features. We're going to take a look at the babies. Then we're going to try to do a little sound test. And finally, in the end, I will give you my take, the good, the bad, and how these sound. Are you ready? Let's start now. Okay, so how does the story go? Very simple. I wrote to AGD, which is Alberto Guerra Design. Yes, Alberto Guerra. He is Italian. That's also why I wanted to get in contact. I know he's based in LA. All his business is based in LA, but I knew, roaming around, that he and also his very nice wife, Daniela, are Italian. So, what happened? I got in contact, and Alberto immediately wrote back, said, no problem. We can arrange this. I'm very happy to send you a pair of these. Let me know how. And after a few emails, we just understood that Alberto was actually in Italy and quite close to me because I'm nearby Florence, as you know. And we wanted to go towards him, his area. Actually, we already planned a little trip with my daughter and my wife. And I said, might as well just do a little stretch and go and visit Alberto since he was so kind to offer to meet. And actually Alberto was very, very nice, as well as Daniela, as I said before. They invited us for lunch. We had lunch together. We talked a lot about different things, but also clearly about the Audions and his business, his ideas, his technology. Because I want to underline this, Alberto is the one behind everything. I mean, he is also making the design of these, which I find beautiful. I love them. They look like something come out of a steampunk adventure or something like that. Very, very cool. I love the looks and clearly the philosophy, the technology behind it. So after lunch, they invited us at their home. We went over. We took a tour. We listened to in his system to the Audions. Fantastic. Amazing. Just a few days ago, I didn't even know who he was. So very, very nice. Thank you once again, Alberto. But, as I said to him in his house, on his couch, I'm not going to give a biased opinion, okay? I'm going to be 100% true and faithful to my ideas with my audience, with my public, with my subscribers. That is something I'm never going to cross. I'm never going to come to a compromise, as you know. I hope you know. So, and he said, no problem. Go ahead. Not everybody does. So, here we are. Now, I had to go to Iraq for my real job. As you know, as I said, I am an archaeologist, so I had to do a few things. I came back, I got sick. Finally, I managed to do a full various listening sessions, but a full understanding of the product, and here we are. Okay, let's proceed to our next point. Okay, let's take a look now at the physical features and characteristics of our Audion AGD monoblock. In fact, we're going to take a look at one. Here it is. Beautiful black version, although I do like more, I must admit, the other one. But this does have its meaning, its sense, especially perhaps if you have a black system going towards that direction. So that is perfectly reasonable. And what can I say? These are gorgeous, just beautiful. We're just going to take a look at one. They're identical. Here is the main tube, the GaNFET part, capacitors, and the binders for the speaker output. Very, very high quality. Like them a lot. Let's see what else do we have. The AGD logo, as we said. Very nice. Good quality feet. Yes. Serial number, and clearly behind we have the goodies. We have two types of input. That is very cool. I like that a lot. Fully balanced or single-ended RCA, and you can decide which one. The IEC inlet, you have to turn off the babies here. Full certification, Europe and America, and that's it. Let's take a look at the actual heart, let's say, of the Audion. So let's take a look here at this baby. Voila. Wow. This is so cool that you can fully replace this. First, if it breaks, or second, if there is an upgrade. And everything is perfectly fitted inside here. Very, very intelligent and cool, I must admit. Yep. Then you can just put it back in. Okay, now that you have a better idea on how they look, let's try to understand how they work, what's inside, what they are doing, why they are special. Well, as we said, these are monoblocks, Class D type of amplification, gallium nitride type of MOSFET, GaNFET. This technology actually is borrowed from other types of technology, like telecommunications, or just simply other types of technology are adopting this already since a few years. And in audio, it's starting. There are not that many amplifiers, actually. Although the solutions found by AGD are different, but we're going to come back to this afterwards. So what is the revolution here? What is the strong point of this type of MOSFET, the GaNFET? Well, they are extremely efficient on various degrees. They have a wealth of, let's say, strong points. Well, first of all, the main feature is the switching frequency. Very, very high. All the way high in the megahertz domain. So already that can give you a specific dimension of what we're talking about. Hence, also, the temperatures can go, they can tolerate very high temperatures. All the components can be greatly reduced. Everything doesn't need to be big, those big capacitors and different components, which in fact all result in this baby right here. in a KT88 envelope. Practically the amplifier is this. The rest is for power. This is the amplifier. And in fact, this is the cool solution that Alberto found, because he can easily upgrade this and do a new version. In fact, this is the Mark III version. Very, very cool and clever. So, in fact, the monoblock themselves, as you have seen, are small, you guys. Not that much heavy, and it's just a little jewel. I mean, this is clearly the future in these terms. But obviously, a lot of people are wondering, like me, how do they sound? I mean, there's a big difference from what we're used to, from the 70s, I would say, all the way up to now, late 60s. So, what is the secret here? Why is AGD at another level? I've spoken with Alberto because I found a lot of stuff online where the story goes that actually a very important company was developing these type of GaNFET MOSFETs for a very renowned and famous company that Alberto told me, which I can't reveal actually, but I don't know. Maybe you can have an idea. Maybe you can understand what we're talking about. In that case, they were developing these specific special type of semiconductors for that famous brand. Sorry if I'm eating. And at a certain point, what happened? The plans changed. They decided not to continue with the research and development, but these were already developed for audio. That's the big difference. They got the technology and fine-tuned it. They put a lot of money to create the special type of semiconductors based on gallium nitride. Hence, they went for sale practically. And Alberto decided, because he was working for the manufacturing company, he decided to invest his own resources buying all of these, okay? Instead of going to that famous company I was mentioning before. So then around that, he clearly increased, because he is an engineer, he increased also the qualities of this even more, built a very special power supply underneath, we could say. And at that point, the audio path was signed and the qualities were finally achieved. Because, once again, the rest of the other types of GaNFET out there are not made for audio. You're going to find a lot of people claiming this is not true, but Alberto went in depth. Clearly, it's a little difficult for me, but he explained why this is true. It is true that his are made for audio, and this is why they are better. So, let's talk about the price. We didn't mention that. They go around, they start. They're not cheap, guys. A pair goes now for $7,850, okay, plus tax. Clearly, if you want the nice and shiny finish, there are three finishes now. The black one is the latest, the Black Knight, but there's also the matte type of metal one. But you can also ask for the very shiny type of metal one, which adds an extra 1,000, a little bit more, to the sum. So not cheap, okay? I do understand that. But there's a lot of research, a lot of investment going on. I mean, Alberto went full in there. So clearly there has to be a comeback. And does the quality stand up? Let's see. First, I want you to listen to something, and then we'll talk about this aspect in depth. Oh, I forgot to mention, together with the two monoblocks, you also get two amazing cables, very high quality. Plus, these come in this amazing suitcase. Very, very sturdy. I like this a lot. Okay, let's proceed.
This town is a lonely town, not the only town like this town. This town is a make-you town or a break-you town and bring you downtown. This town is a quiet town or a riot town like this town.
Okay, guys, now that we have learned about these babies, the technology, you also listened to something, I think it's time now to reach our conclusions, my take on these babies. What do I think about them? Well, first, I like a lot, before talking about the Sonics, the fact that they're compact. I can put them wherever I want. I can move them easily. That is so fantastically cool, instead of these huge boxes. I love the fact that it has a XLR or single-ended type of input, dedicated. The fact that also voltage can change, no problem. I mean, this is a universal amplifier. You can use it wherever you want. Let's put it here, next to us. Probably not going to see it, but it's here. And clearly, I adore the fact that the amplifier is right here. And when there's something to change, or if it breaks, you can easily just take this out and send it to Alberto. And he'll give you a replacement, or he can fix it, or whatever is the problem. What I don't like, well, I had a little problem, which I want to disclose. I did a little mistake, because when I got the first pair, which was silver, you've seen a few images, actually I blew them. Yes, I broke them. And that's also why I was able to bring them to Alberto, who gave me another pair. He was so nice, instead of slapping me in the face. Because I usually use my tube preamplifiers. And as you know, tube technology is a little funky, okay? When you turn it on and off, you have to be careful. It's always a good idea when you're turning them off to turn off first the amp and then the preamp. Well, I was in a hurry and I turned off the preamplifier, which clearly did a surge, sent an impulse, a signal, a strong signal, I believe voltage, in the inputs of the two babies. And since Alberto does not put any type of filters, he does not want filters in the input part, absolutely, in the input stage, in order to keep the signal as faithful as possible. That is a great decision, and I highly admire this choice. But you have to be careful, because if you're using things that aren't so nice and, would say, homogeneous in their way of behaving, you have to pay attention. In fact, I broke mine. So then I changed preamplifiers several times. I've been using them for several weeks. Every time I've done the correct turning on and turning off, meaning turning on preamp and then amp, and turning off amp and then preamp, no problem at all. Okay, so just keep this in mind if you are using vintage gear, because mine is not only it's a tube preamp, but it's also vintage, and probably not perfectly up to spec with some problems. You never know. I mean, you know, tubes. That's the way it is. Okay, so clearly I'm not a big fan of this huge price, because it is very, very big, I must admit. But that's, clearly I also love talking about the cons and pros. I love the aesthetics. I mean, I'm just crazy about them. I love this and all the rest. I invite you to take a look at the rest also, because they're very, very cool designs done by Alberto. Clearly, you're going to find the link to AGD. Obviously, I have no affiliation whatsoever, and I'm not earning anything from this video. Every once in a while, I have to do the disclaimer. People don't know otherwise what's happening. Okay, the Sonics. Well, the Sonics are very good. Absolutely. You know me, I always think of my older amplifiers, which I had solid state mainly, I would say, here on the channel. Mainly my AccuPhase, mainly my Past Labs, but also the Hegel that passed through here, and many others. Vintage and non-vintage. Well, I'm confident to say that this is the best sounding amplifier, solid state amplifier that passed through here. Except for my VFET by Sony, which is my reference, and it still is. The AGD, the Audion, wins in specific parts. I could say that the power, this huge, massive power, this headroom that you have, you can really sense it, okay? There's no problem in driving any type of speaker. And you can't say that for everything with this little teeny body. But my Sony has something, a little oomph. I like more the bass note. It's more convincing, but not night and day, okay? Not night and day. I mean, and considering that my VFET, it's clearly something coming out of the 70s, and you're not going to find it. You have to change all the components inside. Clearly, for those of you guys who are searching for something today, this is absolutely fantastic. Probably one of the best out there. And a lot of YouTubers and reviewers are saying the same, and I know why now. Absolutely. Great dynamics, great bass note, nice sound stage. Although, as solid state, I would say practically all solid state I've encountered, it is a little flat compared to tubes. Tube amplifier, my Sane 2A3, for example, up there, it's a clear winner when we're talking about the air, the space between instruments, the reconstruction of the soundstage, okay? Maybe not the width, but the how things are sculpted. It's just better and more faithful, I would say. At least surely more engaging. But that's all a different another story. I mean, tube technology isn't for everyone. And I've just every time I try to do a comparison, tubes are always more convincing for me. I must admit, more engaging, it just draws me more into music. But I do want to underline how today, as I said, AccuPhase, Past Labs, Hegel, I mean, a lot of stuff passed through here, and these are the clear winners. And I would say that more or less they have the same price, especially if we're talking about AccuPhase or the top models of Past Labs. We're not that distant or in the same ballpark. Absolutely, absolutely. So, I hope you liked this video. I hope you understood a little bit better what is going on. And please leave your comments if you have experimented these or other products by AGD. Thank you again for watching, and remember that music is born analog. Bye! Well guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.